But back in the 70s, which is really when the sport of Frisbee took off, the idea of alternative sports was a pretty foreign concept.
Okay.
Basically, you played sports as a kid. And then when you were, an adult, you watched sports. A very small, small number of kids would go on to play professional baseball or basketball or football or hockey up north. A few people played tennis and golfed, but that's it. Sports was something you watched, not something you did. Alternative sports, as much as anything, just means participation sports.
Right.
So what would happen is you had a lot of people out there, especially in the 70s, part of the counterculture movement, that had the same genetics that other professional athletes had. They had the same drive to compete. They still enjoyed sports, but they didn't want to cut their hair.
Okay.
And they
All right.
wanted to hang out with the jocks because they would get beat up by the jocks. And so what did those people do? Well, they would play Frisbee, they would skateboard, they would surf, but they were just as talented and athletic as the professional athletes, but they didn't fit into the mainstream. So that's the origin of our sport. Is not everybody, obviously, but it was a counterculture movement. It was athletics for those people who did fit in. The punk rock crowd would play, they were the skaters, and the hippie crowd was the Frisbee players. And that's where we started.